Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the vlog. Today we're going to be drilling some holes in the hardtop. I'm installing a TrailRax RotoRax system on the Jeep today, so I'm going to get the Jeep loaded up and we're going to head over to Austin. Alright, so we're over here at Austin's house. Our first step in the installation process for this TrailRax is to take off the hardtop for the Jeep and get it down on the ground so that we can use it and access it a little easier. So we got everything laid out in here in the shop. We have the two RotoRax plates. We have the four arms, the bags of hardware, the RotoPax mounting system, and then the mounting blocks that are going to go on top of the hardtop. I got everything powder coated. Typically everything comes with a raw steel, but I got everything powder coated, so when you get yours it's going to look a little bit different, but for the most part it's all the same. So the first thing we got to do is we got to install these rubber bump stops on the arms on the inside, so that these go against your hardtop, and they're going to mount one down here on that hole, one up here on this hole, and then one right here on the upper side. Yep. So those cap nuts are going to go on the outside. Once that focuses, there we go. Cap nuts go on the outside, rubber washers go on the inside, rubber bump stops go on the inside, and then the bolt just goes through. We're just going to assemble all four arms first, and then we'll go to drilling on the hardtop.
In action, what we can be, live with no distractions, we'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow, we can't miss out.
Now that we got these bump stops on here, our next step is to actually put the mounting plate on the rails here. So we have two rails for each side with one mounting plate.
Let's go, let's be free.
Alright, so now comes the fun part. We get to drill into the hardtop. So we are going to take the back block and we're going to measure 3 inches back from that seam that's on the hardtop. Here, I'll just show it to you. We're going to go 3 inches back from this seam on this outside channel. So the block is going to sit right in this outside channel. So we're going to go 3 inches back from here to the center of this hole. We will drill these two holes out and mount that in place. And then when that's done, then we'll work on doing the front. Can we just take a second to appreciate how good the Jeep looks without the top on it? So when we go to mount these mounting blocks, we actually want them to be up against the inside rib here on that first channel. So that first channel on the hardtop, these are going to go right up against that rib there, and they're going to go 3 inches back from this seam to the center of this hole here. Well, we've committed. So those are the rear blocks mounted. So the next step is we have the rack already assembled. So we're gonna go ahead and place the one rack on the passenger side, and then we're gonna be able to mock up where the front block is gonna go, and then that way we'll be able to drill a hole in the right spot. Again, we just have it mounted here, and then we have the actual rack assembled, and then the bolt in here, so that way, as that focuses, then that way we know exactly where this needs to be so we can drill those holes too. And we're going to use the longer hardware in the front. We got this second side mounted, and we're just going to use the same rack over on the other side to mount the other block too, but we have them both blocks mounted. We don't have the nuts on the back side of these just yet, but you can see underneath, the bolts are through the front and the back. So underneath the hardtop here, when you go to put the nuts on the bolts that go through the top, you want to make sure you put a rubber washer on first, and then you put a metal washer, and then you put the nylock nut on. Alright, so while Austin's inside assembling the other rack, I'm going to wrap up the first rack on the driver's side. So my next step here is to mount these little clamps on the front side of the bracket here. I'm going to leave them loose for now until I get everything bolted up. But these holes on the inside here are threaded. I'm not sure if you can see that. But these holes are threaded, so I don't need to put a nut on the backside, but I will be putting a washer on it. Now that the clamps are installed on the bottom of these brackets, I'm going to go ahead and install my RotoPax mounts using the hardware that came with the RotoPax mount. So now that the RotoPax mounts are installed here, we can go ahead and tighten everything down. These clamps on the bottoms do slide a little bit, so we can loosen that hardware up and slide them so that they go underneath the hardtop, and then we push them up till they're tight, and then we can go ahead and tighten down that hardware. Alright, so before we go ahead and put the hardtop back on, we're just going to trim off these longer bolts a little bit, just in case we run into any interference. I don't think we will, but, you know, just for shits and giggles.
I saw it go straight down your sleeve and I was like, oh no.
Got the hardtop back on, so you can kind of see how everything looks. Good thing we cut those bolts off just a little bit to trim those because they do pretty much hit right where the roll cage is. So we're going to bolt the hardtop back together, and then we're going to install the RotoRax. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for the installation for the TrailRax RotoRax system. So I'm going to go over to the Jeep, I'll give you a look at it. This install was super simple. All it was, you know, the 8 holes on the top of the hardtop, and then the rest of it just bolted together just like it was supposed to. So let's take a look at it. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's vlog. I just got home. Me and the guys are going to go kayaking for the rest of the day, so I will leave you with some of that footage. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button down below. Hit that subscribe button if that's what you're into. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.